What we're going to be talking about today is how to negotiate a new home. Now, this is categorically different from negotiating an existing home. The reason being is because you're dealing with a new home builder. We're going to be discussing a lot of different areas that are different in how to negotiate. The first area is the fact that when you walk into the new home, the person who greets you there is working for the builder. And their agency, which means who they have foremost in their thoughts in negotiation and in fairness, is the builder. So they're not working for you, they're working for the builder. Now, I have been in the new home business for probably half of my career. And I've been with a lot of different builders. And most of the people I've worked with have been very, very fair. And they're instructed to be fair. The whole idea is to be able to sell you a home, not to get one over on you. So these people are highly trained professional salespeople that know their way around balancing that. But when push comes to shove, they work for the builder. It's important that you have your representation working for you. So you need to have a realtor that knows how to negotiate with the builders and make it a very flawless and as beneficial as possible. Now let's talk about negotiating. When you're talking with a builder, they actually have an inventory of homes and lots. Basically, they've got a neighborhood they have to sell. And if they negotiate with you on the price of that house, what they've done is they have established a precedent on value for that house. So if they give you a really, really good deal, they have to deal with that low valuation in appraisals for future homes. So you can see they haven't got the flexibility, especially with a newer neighborhood, to give you that smoking deal off the price. So there are other things you can do to negotiate that isn't the price that'll help you get that best deal and the beautiful home that you want. The best way to negotiate is to negotiate off of lot premium. That's almost pure profit. So when a lot is a little bit more expensive because it's bigger, it's pie-shaped, it's up against a park, it's up against a wooded area or what have you, or it has mountain views, they will assign a value to that lot, and that is something that's definitely negotiable. Secondly, they will also have options that you'll have. You know, whether it comes with a refrigerator, washer and dryer, the design center. If it's if it's a neighborhood that has a design center as opposed to packages, you can negotiate a budget, incentives to go with that. So it's important that you negotiate on those things. The builder has a huge margin on these options, and they are able to really, if you're asking them for a $2,000 or $3,000 off, towards options, to them it's only a net maybe half that or three quarters of that. And it doesn't affect the valuation of the neighborhood. So you definitely want to negotiate off of stuff. And there's also a time to negotiate. So during certain times of the month and year, you will have, and seasons, you will have times where are better than others, where they'll negotiate those options much more strongly. As far as negotiating off a price of a lot, there's one time where they might, and it depends on the market. That's important. You know somebody that knows the market, so they know when to do these things. But they might negotiate if they're closing out a community and there's not another community within a mile or so. So that doesn't affect prices of the homes that they're selling in the future. So they are able to negotiate at that time frame at the end, but there also are time frames where people are basically having to make quotas, and that's powerful. This is something that can really make a huge difference on how many options or price that you pay on your home. I've been in the business for so long, and every single builder has this. They will not negotiate at the first, second, third, first week of the month, nothing. Everything is full price. And then as we get closer and we're not making our numbers, or we want to, go for that really high, high monthly total, they will start really negotiating. At the end of the month, they will really negotiate. Most of these builders are publicly held, and they have to report the monthly numbers, and it affects stock price. So they want to make sure they get it, and they also bonus on the amount of engagements you have. In other words, how many signed contracts and the amount of closings you have. So you can actually really do a big difference by maybe postponing your negotiations until the end of the month, and that will be huge. There's also the fiscal or calendar year. Usually, it either ends the 1st of October for fiscal year, or basically December 31st for calendar year. So, at the end of those times, especially if they have not made their numbers, huge opportunity to negotiate. They sometimes will even negotiate off the price of the home, depending on the market. So, timing can be very, very, very crucial on when to negotiate. Uh, and there's a lot to be said for the power of, hey, don't be a laydown. Sometimes you can be a little bit more of a hardball. You can actually say, let us think about it. Well, as new home salespeople, we're all trained to deal with that objection, but the fact of the matter is that you can sort of hold their feet to the fire. But one thing that really does help in negotiation is having yourselves also be pre-qualified. They know that you're the real deal, that you're actually able to close on this house. So they know that you can actually accomplish this deal, as opposed to being maybe or maybe not. So, and that's, most realtors will always get you pre-qualified before they sent you in their car. That's just good practice, so you know what you can afford. All in all, the new home sales process is a very, very fun, sometimes stressful, because you're in the process, especially if you're building a home. Oh, one thing I didn't mention, which I think we need to do, is another area that is actually can be powerful, is spec, as opposed to in a building from scratch. In other words, when you have an open lot and you're starting it, it's a different prospect for the builder than something that is finished and is a huge financial drag on the bottom line of the builder. So if you happen to find a spec home, which is a home that's completed, that is available, that meets your needs, invariably they'll be less expensive than starting a new build, especially if they have too many of them. So, but I digressed. But nonetheless, the builder is, the process is very, very, it's a fun process watching your home be built, to be doing your own choices. It can be frustrating because when you'll find who your agency is when you have an issue with the builder, and that happens. It happens with the best of the builders, and it's nice to have somebody on your side to help you. But all in all, it's an almost flawless process. Instead of being a multiple offer situation, you go to a builder, and if they have it available and you qualify, you can have that home. There's no bidding. Let me qualify that. There can be, sometimes there's lines, sometimes there's more demand than supply, but currently there's really not a whole lot of that. One of the things you do need to do for sure is to get a good realtor that knows their way around new homes, and that will really help you. They know how to negotiate. They know what to negotiate. Just recently, I was in the process of doing negotiations on a relatively expensive home, and a realtor sent in a standard contract at the same time I was negotiating this home that was higher. So consequently, because she made that error, she didn't get the house. We did. So you want to make sure you have a realtor that knows their way around new homes, knows the areas, knows that sort of thing. But I highly recommend new homes. There's some great builders out there, and you can start looking. Your realtor will know who are the good builders and who are not so much the good builders in your area. That's about it. If you have any questions, make sure you comment, especially those realtors out there. I don't mind hearing your comments as well. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Well, that's it, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you like, share, Comment below. I'd love to hear from you if you have any comments about this. The process is always trying to get the best possible product out there. Even if you're a realtor, I'd like to hear what you think. Now, if you're looking for a realtor in the Phoenix area, I'd love to have a conversation with you. Even if you're looking for a realtor outside the Phoenix area, give me a call. We have a pretty large network, and even if I don't know somebody in your area, I know how to interview a realtor that meets your needs. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.